Ditto may be the king of copying, but today, it's your turn. Grab a pen and some paper because if you copy these 15 Pokemon Pokopia tips, your IQ is gonna skyrocket and you'll become the very best, like no one ever was. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications. Here you have 15 Pokemon Pokopia tips. If you've tried building anything even remotely decent in Pokemon Pokopia using just the Joy-Con stick, you already know that aiming at the exact block you want is absolute hell. Ditto just goes wherever it feels like, the camera does not help, and you end up breaking things you never meant to touch. Well, there's a Nintendo Switch 2 feature the game barely explains, and it changes everything. Joy-Con to mouse controls. You'll pull the Joy-Con off the console, place it on a flat surface, and a cursor appears on screen. That's it. With it, you can destroy objects from a distance with ZR and place objects by pressing R, aiming exactly where you want without depending on where your character is looking. The only downside is that Rock Smash is the only ability compatible with the cursor, so no watering plants or plowing fields from there. But honestly, just being able to break and build with that kind of precision is already more than enough reason to never play without it again. And here's an extra tip that works perfectly with that. Go into the options menu and change the camera distance to far. By default, Ditto is way too close to the screen. And if you're building something big, you need to see the whole area. Then when you want to explore, you can bring it closer again. You can also turn off the music from that same menu if you prefer to build in total peace. These are the kind of settings that stay hidden, but they completely change the experience. Cameras in Pokemon Pokopia are not just there for taking pictures for Instagram. They also have hidden uses that can save you a lot of time. First, security cameras. You can place them in any habitat you've created, and whenever a Pokemon shows up, you'll get a notification. So no more running back and forth every 2 minutes just to check whether something is spawned. You set them up, keep doing your own thing, and when they detect a new Pokemon, you'll know. On top of that, you can check them at any time from the Pokédex. But things get really interesting with a camera. While you're looking through it, your interaction with the environment changes. For example, you can walk through vines without breaking them, which is normally impossible. And pay attention to emotes. Your character can make different expressions, and nearby Pokemon will react to each one. Like if you look sad, they get sad. If you make a cheerful gesture, they perk up. But the most useful one is the beckon gesture. Use it, and they'll come running around you, which is perfect for taking a photo with all your companions without having to harass them into posing next to you. Mosslax is not there just to decorate the island. This new Pokemon can change your luck depending on what you feed it. If you give it the right food, you can boost the spawn rate of Pokemon and habitats or make it easier to find more lost relics and fossils while exploring. Each food has a different effect, so we definitely recommend cooking and experimenting by giving it different dishes every day to discover every possible combination. And it's not the only Pokemon that can help you in unexpected ways. Tinkaton, for example, can speed up construction. So if you're the kind of person who cannot stand waiting for a house to finish, now you know exactly who to call. If you're going to build seriously, sooner or later you're gonna need materials that are not so easy to get around the map. And that's where Dream Islands come in. To unlock them, you need to befriend Drifloon, because it's the one that flies you there. But you'll also need a doll. And here's the important part. Depending on which Pokemon the doll is based on, the island changes completely, and so do the materials you can find there. For example, with an Arcanine doll, you can get plenty of gold, while with a Dragonite doll, you'll find crystal fragments or Pokemetal fragments. Here you can see which items each one gives you. The Substitute doll and Ditto doll take you to a random island. And here's one detail you might miss. Every time you visit a Dream Island, there's a cast form charm waiting for you. Always bring it back with you, because you can trade it in at shops for 1,500 points, which is a neat little trick so you don't end up wasting items when haggling. Lastly, if you're very lucky, you may come across a legendary Pokemon, and if you bring it home, it will greatly increase the environment level. And since we're talking about cast form, this weather charm has a unique function that no other item in the game has. It can change the weather. So to do it, you have to place 2 cast form in the world, one on each side of a plate of food. Then bring along a fire type or water type Pokemon that knows sunny day or rain dance. Take it near the altar and the weather will change. This is really useful because some Pokemon only appear under certain weather conditions. But if you really want to play God, there are Pokemon that only appear at night or during the day, and you can always change the console's internal clock from the system settings to force those conditions and make them appear whenever you want. There are several ways to fast travel in Pokémon Pokopia, but most players only know the most basic one, teleporting to one of the houses Ditto has in any of the areas. It works, but it's quite limited. The trick that really changes everything is hidden in the Pokédex. Go into it, find the Pokémon you want to go to, and place the cursor over it. Press the plus button to activate the search, then talk to a flying-type Pokémon like Pidgey or Wingull. They'll ask if you want them to take you directly to where that Pokémon is, and they'll teleport you there instantly. This does have one small limitation though. It only works within the same area. And here's the best part. If you select Tangrowth, since it's always at the Pokemon Center, it works as a direct shortcut to go back there no matter where you are. On top of that, any Pokemon currently following you travels with you, so it also works as the fastest way to move companions from one zone to another. It is, without a doubt, the game's ultimate teleportation trick. If you're struggling to gather points for trades at the Pokemon Centers, there are items that are worth far more than they seem. Relics and fossils are hidden inside random blocks, and you can find them more easily by using Pokemon's search ability. Even more easily if the Pokemon can fly, like Pidgey. Each one can be exchanged for 1,500 points, so with just a few of them, you'll already have more than enough to get whatever you need. And as we mentioned before, the cast form charms you collect on the Reverie Islands are also worth 1,500 points each. So between relics, fossils, and cast forms, you can trade comfortably without spending other, more valuable resources. If you're the kind of player who wants to keep the whole land green without a single dry plant in sight, here are 3 levels of watering that are going to change the way you play. At first, your only option is to use Water Gun, which Squirtle teaches you, and it waters in a 5-block cross-platform. It works, but going square by square is maddening when you've got a huge field ahead of you. The first real upgrade comes when you discover that drinking soup increases your watering range, so you can cover more ground with every shot. But the ultimate trick comes with sucking up liquids. Go near a water source or drink a bottle of water and spit it all over the dry ground. The water will flood the whole area, then absorb it back, and when it dries, you'll see that all the land it passed over has automatically turned green. It's mass watering in 2 steps, and once you discover it, there's no going back. And one final tip that a lot of people overlook, vending machines only let you take 1 bottle per day from each one, and those bottles are used to create different kinds of aquatic environments. So the more machines you've located, the more bottles you can collect. Get used to emptying them all every time you play, because stockpiling bottles over time is actually pretty useful. And if you flat out just don't want to keep watering crops every single day, there's a permanent solution too. Surround your fields with flowing water channels, just like classic irrigated farmland. The water will keep the soil moist automatically, and your plants will grow without you having to touch them. And if you want to take your farming to the next level, the rototiller ability that Drillbur teaches you lets you pick up flowers, bushes, and entire crops so you can move them somewhere else or store them directly in your inventory. Perfect for reorganizing your fields without having to start from scratch. Now, some habitats in Pokémon Pokopia are quite tricky to create, and they can attract several different Pokémon. The problem is that once one is filled, nothing else will come. But there is a trick to getting the most out of them. When a Pokémon appears, move it into a house somewhere else. The habitat stays free, and you can attract a new Pokémon again. But in order to manage habitats properly, you need to understand how their boundaries work. If you press the right stick, the game will show you the exact space that belongs to each habitat. This is key for knowing where to place objects so they actually count inside that area. And here's the most useful detail. If 2 habitats overlap and you place an object in that shared space, like a washing machine, yes, a washing machine, it will count for both habitats at once. It's a very efficient way to raise the environment level of multiple areas without having to duplicate furniture. Honey has a use that'll save you more than one headache. If one of your Pokemon has wandered off and you can't find it anywhere, all you have to do is leave a jar of honey near its habitat and it'll come back automatically, drawn to it. So no need to search the whole map for it. On top of that, you can also give honey to Vespiquen in exchange for custom furniture, so it's worth always keeping a few extra jars in your bag. But if your bag is completely packed with materials, this trick will make life much easier. Place a storage box with building materials near a workbench, and whenever you go to craft something, you'll be able to access whatever's inside directly without needing it to carry it on you. So always keep a well-stocked box next to your work area. You can connect up to 4 storage boxes at a time. That being said, storage boxes can't be put in your bag if they have items inside, but they're not the only storage option. A lot of house furniture also works as containers, both indoors and outdoors. And if you need more space while building, Gulpin can help by storing items in its stomach. Pokémon Pokopia is a game designed to be taken slowly, but if you're impatient and don't want to wait for buildings to be finished or for crops to grow, you can always change the date and time on Nintendo Switch 2's internal clock in the system settings. That way, time will move forward in the game, and unlike in Animal Crossing, there are no penalties here, no weeds, and no negative consequences. But if you'd rather do it without cheating, there's a more elegant trick. Schedule your construction projects right before going to bed, because they take a maximum of 1 day. That way, when you come back to play, everything will be ready without having your Pokemon tied up during your session. One of the first items you should buy is the Handy Bag. It gives you extra inventory space on top of your main bag, and when you're deep into building, those extra slots make a huge difference. But what really makes a difference is how you use it. You can pin the item bar to the bottom of the screen and switch between items quickly by pressing the D-pad. That way, you don't have to keep going in and going out of the menu every time you want to swap blocks. It sounds like a small detail, but when you're building, the pace feels completely different. Now, if what you want is to build at top speed, the ultimate ability is Magnet Rise. You don't get it until after you beat the game, when Magnemite teaches it to you. But with it, you can move and transform several blocks at once, which lets you put up huge structures in much less time. It's similar to Minecraft's creative mode, but much more limited. And one last detail, when you have several selectable objects close together, you can cycle between them by pressing the right stick. That way, you can choose exactly the one you want without moving. If you've got friends who play Pokémon Pokopia, and even better if they're further ahead than you, this trick is pure gold. Multiplayer lets you visit their worlds, and even though you can't edit anything, you can take pictures. Now, combine that with a 3D printer and Pokémon Centers, which lets you create copies of objects from photographs, and you've got a way to clone your friends' rare items and bring them back to your own world. This even works with the unique items that Gimmighoul gives you, a Pokémon you can trade Lugia and Ho-Oh feathers to in exchange for special rewards. If you and your friends photocopy these items for each other, you can maximize the objects to finish the collection more efficiently. Keep learning more video game secrets with these videos we're leaving for you right here. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything about Pokemon and Nintendo Switch 2. Thanks for watching. See you next time.